the more and more I see this heretical doctrines and teachings, the more and more I see that usually it's connected to the Pentecostal charismatic movement, which just from feminism to generational curses to the demon slayers where they teach losing your salvation. The list goes on. These radical, ridiculous teachings and the lack of foundation on Scripture, the lack of not relying on it as a sole vessel for their theology and doctrines. Instead, they go off of emotions, experiences, things that are not biblical, that open up multiple interpretations, and their passive aggressiveness is crazy as well. And the fake tongues. The list just goes on. Like I said, in the Scripture, there's a disregard for it. It's not it's not the main thing. It's like it's good here and there to take out of context, use a couple of references of Scripture, but avoid it. Don't rely on it. And like I said, I told a friend recently about like the Catholic Church. You know, like they're significantly heretical and very dangerous. And they always have been if you look at history. But the Pentecostal church is they're just like them. They're similar. And even though they're new for about 100 years, a little over 100 years, but their teaching is similar, like the things that make salvation on works, and like I said, the false things, so many false teachings, the seductive spirits. There's so much focus on spirituality versus a biblical spirit, right? Instead of testing the spirits, it's just like, let me have this spiritual experience. Let me do these crazy things and things that aren't biblical just because, and in a way it makes me feel, or the way I like it, because it's my interpretation, right? Not the eisegesis instead of the exegesis. And the list just goes on. And not being literal, taking Scripture literal is a big thing as well for them, which doesn't make any sense, because then you could get to any conclusion you want if you can't take Scripture literal, right? It could say, you know, Jesus is the only way, and I could be like, well, no, it doesn't mean that literally. You know, you could take anything that you want out of context, so then therefore you have no real doctrine, you have no real theology, you have nothing to stand on, because everyone else is going to take it how they want. It's similar to what you see in the world nowadays, the secular world, where, you know, there's no actual truth. There's no absolute truth, right? It's up to your interpretation. Everything's relative. It's relative truth. Where you're right and I'm right, even though we're saying the exact same things. There's no such thing, I guess, as an oxymoron, right? Because everything's true to every person. It's insanity, but you see them doing it as well. And they're teaching these heretical doctrines, these doctrines that, like a lot of them, are salvific ones. Like you lose your salvation, or you keep your salvation by works, which means it's a work-based salvation. And it's not a gift from Christ. It's something that you earned to keep. It's craziness. But again, seek Christ. Stay focused on Him, not the world, not this craziness. God bless to those who are righteous.